You know, I've reviewed a lot of speakers in my time, but not like this one. This one is the Vivid Audio Kaya S12 stand mount speaker. I've heard Vivids at shows many, many times. And well, first of all, you walk into the room and it's like, yikes, those are not normal speakers. They're cool speakers. I don't know, it's a very form follows function. You get that feeling that that's what's going on here. It's not just a pretty face. There's a lot of depth and a lot of interesting ideas in Vivid speakers. So anyway, when this one came along, the S12, I was totally in. I said, please send that to me ASAP. The Kaya, the Kaya series also includes 3 floor standers plus a center channel speaker, meaning you could do an all Kaya home theater or, of course, a standard 2-channel system, which is what I'm doing here today with the S12. As I would expect from any bona fide high-end speaker company, Vivid designs and builds all of their drivers in-house. They build them in the UK and also in South Africa. The S12 is a 2-way design with a 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter. But that tweeter is not a typical spherical shape. It's actually what they call a catenary, which is a higher profile, let's put it that way, dome. I'll put up a picture of what that means. And that tweeter, by the way, is used in all of Vivid speakers up to their $86,000 flagship model. They all share the same tweeter. Now the tweeter is set into a shallow waveguide and has that protective grill on top of it that's not removable. It's a very fragile design. You don't want to touch that tweeter. The 4-inch aluminum woofer is exponentially tapered tube loaded into a bass reflex port. We live in an MDF speaker world, but this one is not MDF, obviously. It is rim-cast polyurethane, and it has ribs in it to strengthen its different thicknesses. It's 2 layers. It's a very complex enclosure. Looking at the back of the speaker, you'll see a set of nicely finished binding posts tucked in under that smallish rear port. And I will say that that port, though it's very small, I never heard any sounds, or chuffing sounds or anything like that coming from the port. As for the specs, I'll just put up all the specs right now. I will note that it is an 8-ohm speaker that dips down to 5.3 ohms. Warranty is 5 years. Oh, and the price. The price is $6,500 a pair in the standard finishes, high gloss black, high gloss white, and this one that I have here, the oyster finish. The stands are $2,000 a pair, and there are also wall brackets. I don't have the price for the wall bracket. As for the sound, the first thing you notice about the S12 is how clear it is, how the transient response is lightning fast. It kind of reminds me of the Sapphire M4, the Spatial Audio Lab open baffle speaker I had not long ago. This speaker, the S12, is quick, so drums and percussion have a live sound. Very, very immediate sounding speaker. It's not forward, it's just fast. The imaging is big, spacious, and very 3D, which leads to the setup. For setup, I found these speakers like to be close to the wall. 18 inches seemed about optimum in my room. Now it's going to vary from one room to the next. Unfortunately, I did not have another $6,000 stand mount speaker on hand to do A/B comparisons with. That just wasn't going to happen. I do have the Buckhart S400 Mark II that I just reviewed. It's about 1/3 the price of the S12, but it's what I got. So that's what I used. And that speaker, the Buckhart, has a much fuller, rounder, softer, fleshier presentation. This one, the S12, is faster and more alive, and the S400 Mark II is kind of a slowpoke by comparison. But that leads me to say, one of the things I did notice consistently about the S12 was its low end, its bass was, let's say, under 60 hertz or so, lightweight. There wasn't a lot of extension coming from this speaker. If you're into deep bass, you'd probably want to use a subwoofer with the S12. Now, with most of the music I played, I wasn't really thinking about that. I mean, sure, if you're playing EDM, dance music, and reggae and stuff, that's your thing. This one's probably not the right one for you, but most small speakers are probably not right to do that music without the aid of a subwoofer. That's just the way it rolls. So I did have one speaker that I want to at least visually compare, and that is the Genelec G3. So here's the shot, and yeah, there is definitely similarities, especially around the tweeter. So okay, so the S12 delivers. It delivers clarity, resolution, transparency, all that stuff, all those audiophile buzzwords, it's got that. But sometimes you may not want all that detail, right? So I did spend some time listening to less than stellar recordings, especially these ones from Jeremiah Lockwood. He's a contemporary blues man, but he doesn't sound, a lot of contemporary blues sounds kind of boring to me. It's just going through the motions. But Jeremiah's voice goes deeper, and his playing, he's an amazing guitarist. Acoustic guitar plays Piedmont style, just great, really, really special. And there's an authenticity to his rawness. It feels real. So anyway, I'm playing these recordings, which are not particularly good, and I was smiling. I was digging the sounds coming out of the S12. No doubt about it, this speaker gave me what Jeremiah was putting out. Absolutely. Delivered the goods. So then I said, I should play something that actually sounds good, and I play K.D. Lang's Ingenue CD. Great recording, and what a voice. And it's just this big, expansive sound, and K.D. Lang what a powerhouse singer she is, or was. I'm not sure what's up with her lately. But in any case, this speaker just delivered it again, just put K.D. Lang in the room with me. I could feel her presence. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, if you were ever into K.D. Lang, or not, check out this recording, Ingenue. Speaking of masterpieces, the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. Wow. This is their best 1970s record. Maybe their last, no, Exile on Main Street is pretty amazing too. But it's near the end of their super creative period. But anyway, Sticky Fingers is wonderful. And I love the horn arrangements on that record. The Stones and horns, but this time they really do. And the sound that Keith was getting, his just kind of grinding guitar, man. It's just so meaty and powerful. Helps to be young, I guess, if you're doing that. Because they were all probably in their late 20s at that time. But can it rock? Can the S12 rock your world or my world? No, it cannot. But then again, it's a small speaker with a 4-inch woofer, and the limitations are definitely there. Now, if you could match it to a great subwoofer like the KEF KC62, that would be, I don't have it here, so I can't tell you how it worked, but in my head at least, that would be an ideal combo without breaking the bank. You guys know that I'm into Thelonious Monk, right? I've been playing his records since I was 12 years old. It just speaks to me. It always has. I didn't have to grow up to figure out his music. People say it's complicated. It wasn't complicated to me. I totally felt his rhythm, the way he put so much into his sound. So I was playing that over the S12s, and this speaker does piano really well. That leading edge, you feel the tone, the shading of each note, the dynamics of each note. That is very, very special. So Herbie Hancock was doing it for me. Just piano players. Yeah, and Vladimir Horowitz for classical music. The touch, the subtlety of what Vladimir could put into a piano. Absolutely incredible. And these speakers can deliver that sound, that feeling of the music very, very well. So now we're circling around to, so Steve, what do you really think? And I think that this speaker is, within its bandwidth, a neutral sounding speaker that just has audiophile grade imaging. It's a great imaging speaker. I love the way the soundstage just floats free of these speakers. They just disappear in that sense, and I'm a sucker for that kind of sound. And the sound is fast and clear and immediate and very low noise. It just feels pure. That's what it does so well. So if you have the right room, a small to mid-sized room, and well, in that sense, it's a lifestyle speaker because you can get it closer and closer to the wall, which is not true for a lot of audiophile speakers. So I think that's who it's for. So yeah, that's where we stand with the Vivid Audio Kaya S12. So now it is that very special time for the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. This is Bruno's system. He's 43 years old and he lives in Portugal. He built these DIY open baffle speakers with drivers from LII Audio, they're F15s. I heard about LII from none other than Nelson Pass. And speaking of Nelson, the amplifiers are designed by Nelson. They are 2 amp camp amps used as monoblocks. For digital, there's an RME ADI2 DAC FS, and the streamer is a Raspberry Pi 4. Bruno's coffee table is his hi-fi rack. It's by IKEA. It's called Trulstrop, I think. As you can see, this first iteration is 100% digital, but the next one, Bruno's next one, will be analog. Thanks, Bruno. Okay, we are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. Thank you so much for being here. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, please give me a like and consider subscribing if you have not yet done so. Now, for a special announcement, I think this might be the first time, I just started a podcast called the Audiophiliac Podcast, and you can hear it on Spotify and Amazon Music, and soon, I hope, on Apple Podcast thing. That's probably the biggest one. That's where I'm trying to get it on. But I have a lot of ideas for the podcast, which will be similar to some of the videos and completely original, will have nothing to do with the video. So I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to learn on the job how to be a podcaster. I'm very excited about that. You know, one of the nicest things about my job is hearing feedback from you guys that they followed some of my advice or they were just entertained by the show. So if you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/audiophiliac. And Patreon now accepts payment in dollars, pounds, and euros. And with that, I can say my work here is at last complete. Thank you again for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.